Hello. Welcome to.
Okay, so we have four types of equations. Hey, we have four types of equations we've talked about. We've talked about circles, parabolas, ellipses, and hyperbolas. A circle is in what form? What's the standard form of a circle?
C equals.
No.
The area.
X minus.
No.
X squared.
X squared
X
is
plus
the
minus
standard form.
Y
Plus y squared equals r squared. That's when my center is 0, 0, the origin. We're going to talk about when our center is not 0, 0, our formula changes to say x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. The h and the k are the center of my circle now. Meaning, if my h and my k are let's say it's 2, 3. Okay, 2, 3 is my center. I would graph 2, 3. Okay, 3, 2. I would graph that, and then let's say my radius was 9, or my r squared was 9. That would mean my radius is 3. And I would go 3 units from here, 3 units from here, 3 units down, right? 3 units over, whatever. And I'd make my circle. So basically, your circle is still being graphed the same way. You just have to graph your center point first, then you have to graph your radius. Yes, Anna.
So for your h and your k, would it be x minus 3 or x plus 3?
It's always opposite of whatever is inside the sign. Okay? For a parabola, you have the formulas y squared equals 4px or the formula x squared equals 4py. When the vertex of that parabola is 0, 0. When your vertex changes, you have the formula y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h, or you have x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. Your h and your k become your new vertex. And off of there, we're going to start doing what we need to do. In ellipses, how do I know ellipses and hyperbola equations apart? How do I know which one's which? The plus and the minus. Plus and minus is the easiest way to know. On ellipses, you have x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Or you have x minus h squared over b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared equals 1. A hyperbola, you have x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Or y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared equals 1. Okay. How would I graph this equation? X minus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 9. First of all, what is it? Time out. What is it?
A circle.
A circle. It's not a parabola. It's a circle because I have an x squared and a y squared. A parabola only has one or the other.
2 negative.
So what's my center?
2,
-2, -3. What is my radius?
3.
This is all I need to know to graph this. So I'm going to go to 2, -3. Okay, so then from here I go 3 up. It was 2, -3, right? So 3 up. I go 3 over. I go 3 down. And I go 3 to the left. And I make my circle. And if I have it on graph paper, it's perfect. There, it looks okay. That's how I graph that, okay? Tonight on your homework, you're only going to focus on graphing things. Graphing ellipses, parabolas, hyperbolas, all that fun stuff, okay? But we're going to go through this lesson like 50% of the way through and talk about some other stuff. How would I write an equation of the parabola whose vertex is -2, 3 and whose focus is at -4, 3? I want an equation of that parabola. What is the equation for a parabola? It's one of two things. It's what?
It's either horizontal or vertical.
Okay, which way is it? Is it x squared equals or is it y squared equals? Why is it y squared equals m? Because it's facing to the left or to the right. It's always the vertex is always parallel to the axes. If it's y squared, it's parallel to the y axis. If it's x squared, it's parallel to the x axis. So, I have an equation that should say y minus what?
Okay.
Not y minus,
Oh, H.
no, it's y minus k, you're right. Y minus k squared, because k always goes with my y, equals 4p x minus h. What is my k and my h? Do we know?
2 for negative.
2, negative 3, because my vertex is my k and h in this case. So y minus 3 squared equals 4p times x plus 2, yes? Okay, now I need to figure out, the only other thing I need to figure out is what p is, so I can decide what that whole number is, because I can't have a variable in there, okay? So p. If my focus is at negative 4, 3, and my vertex is at negative 2, 3, how do I figure out what p is? P is your what?
It's your. Never mind. I did not mean to say that.
What is your something flipped? I forget what it is.
There's a question.
So I need to figure out what the p is on that equation, so that I can plug a number in there and not. The original equation is the y squared equals 4px.
P is the
Directrix?
Yeah.
Yes and no. P goes with your directrix and with your focus on this, yes, with your foci, focus and your directrix. But it represents something. What do I know about the focus and about the directrix compared to the vertex?
Oh,
it's
distance.
your y
So your
intercept.
distance, it's your
Yeah.
distance. So what is my P? On this I can look and figure it out.
Negative 2.
It's negative 2.
2.
Okay, technically it's a distance, so it's 2, but this graph faces the left, so so it is negative 2 because I need my equation to say negative so that it flips it to the left side. So I'm going to plug a negative 2 into P. When I plug a negative 2 into P, what do you get? Negative 8. So your equation for this graph is as follows. Y minus 3 squared equals negative 8 times x plus 2.
Will it always be that easy to find?
It's always that easy.
Okay.
It's always that easy. Okay? We're going to look at one that's an ellipses now. Ellipses. Write an equation of the ellipses with the foci at 1, 2, and 7, 2, and the co-vertices at 4, 0, and 4, 4. Okay. Before we do anything, we need to decide, is this x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared, or is it x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared?
X.
A squared and then B squared.
You think a squared and then b squared. Why? Oh, because you can read a
I,
Bible.
I don't.
But why?
Because they're inside.
What's inside?
No, because those points.
Co-vertices.
No. The co-vertices are the blue ones. The red ones are your foci. And the foci are always inside of the,
Circle.
Well, they're always inside.
Right.
no, stop. Your foci goes with what other thing? Your vertices, your main vertices. So if that's on the x-axis, that means that your a squared is under your x. Okay, so I need to use this equation. X minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Okay, do I know my a? Do you have a vertex?
Yeah.
No, they didn't say you have a vertex. So I don't know my a. So what do I know?
Co-vertex. and
Which
foci.
is your what? What's your co-vertice? It's your b squared. It's my b squared. So I can at least plug that in. And I can at least plug that in for now. So I have x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over what? What's my b squared? Take a look at your co-vertices. What? Not 16. It's simply,
Zero.
no, it's, what did you say? It's 4.
Wait, why?
I don't square it because it's already been squared when I have it graphed.
Oh. Okay.
Okay? My b is 2,
Gotcha, okay.
which is 2 squared is
Right,
4. My co-vertice is my b squared. Okay? So it's 4 equals 1. Now, let's talk about how to find hk, then we'll come back to finding a. Okay? H and k is very, very simple to find. It is a midpoint. Okay? It can be the midpoint between these co-vertices, or it can be the midpoint between the foci. It doesn't matter because the midpoint's going to be the same. How do you find a midpoint?
You add the x's over 2.
Okay, so give me what you want. Tell me which ones we
4
want to use.
plus 4 over 2 equals 4.
4 plus 4 over 2 and
4 plus 0 over 2 equals 2.
so I get 4, 2 as my my h and my k. So I have x minus 4 squared over a squared plus y minus 2 squared over b squared equals 1, or over 4 equals 1. Okay, now the only thing I have left to figure out is my a squared. Okay, what is your a squared?
So you gotta set it up.
So I have to set what up?
Well, like it's just a regular equation, a squared equals whatever your b squared is and plus your c squared.
No.
Why is it a squared equals b squared plus c squared?
Because that's how you find.
Because technically the formula is a squared minus b squared equals c squared, okay? Remember when we deal with ellipses, it's minus because this is plus. When we deal with hyperbolas, it's Pythagorean theorem because this is minus. So now I need to say a squared minus b squared equals c squared. What is your b squared again?
4.
4. What is my c squared?
Good question.
1.
No, don't you
No,
add?
no.
No. How can I figure out what my c squared is? C is more complicated. Okay? I've got to do some math to figure out C.
Oh, nice.
Okay? To figure out C, I need to figure out what the absolute value
Oh my god.
is between a set of points, okay? Okay. The finding B, the distance between a co-vertex and the center for 2, and C, the distance between a focus and the center. I need to figure out what the difference between the focus and the center is to figure out what my C is. Okay? The focus and the center. So right here is my center, correct? I need to figure out what this distance is. Which means it's 3. I also can do it mathematically because I can take, this is at 4, 2, right? And I can take 4 minus 1, which is 3. So you get 3 squared, which is 9. So a squared is going to equal 13. So I get x minus 4 squared over 13 plus y minus 2 squared over 4 equals 1. That is my equation of that graph. Okay? That is where we're going to stop today. Today's homework is 6 problems of graphing. Okay? Tomorrow we'll work on coming up with equations of these things. What?
Can you explain again how you found C?